I'm coming for all of you. Right now, there's a 15-year-old sophomore in high school who has no idea they're studying nursing just so they can wipe my ass in 17 years. I'm 50 and single. That's a fantastic combination. I'm going to spend my golden years dating a handful of spit and a jug of Astroglide. Hey, what's happening, Mike Schmidt, 40-year-old boy podcast. Let me ask you something. I put this out there to you folks. I put it out there to the world. If the world is listening, I know you guys are listening, certainly, and I consider you my world. I'm going to color my world. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to color my world. Isn't there a more depressing song? Is there a more depressing song? That isn't there. Is there a more depressing song than Color My World? Isn't that dung bung dung 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 bung dung 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 as time goes on, right? Isn't it that one? Fucking terrible Chicago song. All right, I guess it's. I mean, look, there's probably artistry. I'm sure it's a good song. I have a tin ear. Maybe I'm not the music guy. I know what I like, and I like a lot of other Chicago songs. I certainly Only the Beginning leaps through, and that's a decent song. 25 or 624. Anybody really know what time it is? This is a conversation for me to have in private with my good friend James Pardo. Probably he would know a lot more about Chicago than I would, and he would be able to answer all my questions about Color My World and whether that led to the suicide of Robert Lamb. Did Robert Lamb kill himself? I don't know if he did. For some reason, my brain seems to think that Robert Lamb killed himself. Oh, that's going to be annoying. My chair's been making noise recently. Listen. Hear that? I don't know. And I don't know if that's because I'm a big fat dude who's now creaking his office chair, or if my office chair is just deciding it's old and it wants to bail on me. Can't figure it out. Hold on. Yawn coming. Let's fight it off. We did. We fought it off effectively. Here's my question to you. I put it out to the world. I put it to you, Greg. Isn't this an indictment of our education system and fraternity system entirely? Let's walk out of here humming. What do you say there, Dean Wormer? You're finished. You're through it, Faber. All right, this is a lot of talking and circuitous nonsense. I'm gonna take a verbal poll right now, and you guys can let me know via posts in social media, which I love, and we'll get to that in a minute. Or you can write me privately and try to tell me what you think about this. Do you care that I do this? The talking in circles and the zipping around? Should I slow down? Because I always, this is how I try to approach it, certainly from the jump, especially with nobody in the fucking room with me. As you know, I'm filling silence. I'm doing the best I can to go ahead and just plow over the fact that sometimes there's these long periods of silence. Now look, if you're telling a story, certainly there's beats. But there's no story here to be told. This is just me vomiting out words at a record rate and you guys absorbing them into your goddamn brain pans. So do you want me to slow down? Does it make it better for you? A couple of months ago, I had a new guy who was jumped on board, and he's like, I thought I was listening to your show at 1.5 speed. And I get that. I understand that. Imagine how my brain feels. Imagine how the people in my apartment complex feels when they just see the sparks flying off of my scalp all night long as I sit here and I burst into flame when I yell fucking words into a goddamn microphone. They can see it right through the window, right through the blinds. They think I'm in here with a belt sander, taking care of business. They think I'm doing a buffing job on a quarter panel, but instead, no, it's just me bringing you comedy at high speed. Comedy at the speed of my head. And comedy is not pretty. I can tell you that, folks. Let's breathe. It's a good idea. Let's talk. Let's not talk. Let's just breathe. Let's listen. I'll talk. You listen. All right. You know what? I go ahead and change it up this time. I made myself laugh. I couldn't even spit it out. I'm changing it up, folks. This show, I listen, you talk. All right? I'm here. Fire away. Was that a question? I don't know if that was a question. Was I supposed to answer that? Or are you just going to talk to me? Because I do ask you guys a lot of questions. And again, like I said, my dream is that you answer them out loud wherever you are. In a car, on a plane. Could you on a plane? Could you with Rebecca Romaine? I think you could. And what if you listen to the show with Rebecca Romaine? I got news for you. If you're on a fucking date with Rebecca Romaine, or just even a conversation with Rebecca Romaine, and I don't care if you're fucking applying blue paint to Rebecca Romaine, or you're asking her about why she married the fat kid from Stand By Me with Rebecca Romaine, don't listen to my show during that time. I think it's just rude. I mean, look, if you got your hands on Rebecca Romaine, and that sounds really awful, perhaps you're just having a nice dinner with her. Perhaps you're enjoying a Pop-Tart in the morning. Maybe you're at craft services on a Rebecca Romaine project, and you stumble up next to her, and you're about to get a breakfast burrito, and you hear her order her fucking organic quinoa and a fucking poached egg, and you want to say to yourself, hey, that's a delicious breakfast, and you want to talk to her about it. Don't bring me up. She and I have a past. We have a history. Oh, Rebecca Romaine does not enjoy me. It's a long story, folks. I don't want to get into it, but it involves ramen soup and her name and the conflagration of the two, and me telling her I wanted a hot steaming bowl of her. And she was like, what? I thought your name was ramen. It was a joke. And then she threw a glass of water in my face, and she stormed out of Spago, leaving me there alone. I'll tell you, it's the last time I Tinder with a supermodel. I'll tell you this. Tinder. God, remember when I did that for like a week? That was fucking awful. I put it on my phone just like curiosity, like zooming around and looking at people. Well, we talked about this a million times, certainly. I've discussed my Tinder activities. And you know, Tinder exists now, and but is it even a thing? Because when I did it, it was like 4 years ago or 5 years ago. It was right after Karen and just before like Jill and I got crazy serious. Although Jill and I were crazy serious from the jump. Jill and I were serious before fucking Karen left. I can't fucking lie, even though she fucking thinks I'm an idiot, and I'll get to that in a minute too. And you might think I'm an idiot as well, but I didn't meet any of you on Tinder. How about that? I talked to that one Tinder chick and she was going to a funeral. Fuck. Why am I even bringing this up? I didn't even put that live show out, did I? No. And that was an ongoing fucking fight too with my ex. All right. Hi. So here's the question I put to you guys. I throw a question out to all of you. I throw it out, like I said, to the ether, to the world, to you people who are listening. Well, I guess I already asked a question about whether or not I should stop talking fast. Let's try it. Let's do that. Hey, hi. I can't even get the opening down. Stupid. I can't. I go, I'm going to slow down, and I couldn't even do the opening to the show properly. I have to fucking, I got to be launched out of a fucking cannon. I'm sorry, folks. I can't jog. I got to run. I got to sprint. I used to run. That's an Arcade Fire song. We've talked about them in the past, certainly, recently. The fact that they got 75 members in the band, one of them playing a goddamn kazoo. It's like Mumford Sons. I think Mumford & Sons should have a fight with Arcade Fire. You know me, I always think that bands should fight. I'm enjoying the idea of bands fighting. Because I used to think that Kiss would always have the edge because they were like mean-looking monsters in crazy makeup and leather. But now they're old. They'd get their ass beat. Like Kiss would get their ass beat by some fucking like little band. Who are those dudes who did the fucking Black Beatles song? Ray's Drummers? Or I can't even... It's ear drummers backwards. So it's Ray Shrummed. I don't even know how you pronounce it. But I think they'd beat Kiss in a fight. And there's just like two little skinny kids, right? I don't know. I don't know much about them. But I know that girl with a head lost in hope you're gonna flip my shit. Remember they used to do that thing where it was the Friezo challenge or whatever the fuck, or the I don't know. I don't even know. There were so many challenges online, folks. I can't keep track. But it was one of those challenges where they would play that song. That girl was a fearless pleaser. And they would zoom in. Everybody was standing still. So like a high school baseball team did it where they were pretending like they were catching a ball over the fence, and then other people did it, and then all of a sudden famous people started doing it, and everybody went, this now sucks. That's how it works. When other people are doing it, it's like, yay, this is fun, look at Instagram, hey, we got this challenge, and then famous people do it, and everybody goes, this sucks, move on. Because I don't know if you remember this. Let's talk about this and the death of our country. Hillary Clinton did that. You remember that? When she did that on her plane to appear all like cool to young people. She was posing on a plane and they did that girl on the real side, please. And they came through and there's Hillary holding a packet of papers. I'm not sure if Obama did it as well. Democrats are fun. They never win elections anymore and they're never going to for the rest of my life. But still, they're fun. They catch on with those viral videos, that stuff that the kids all enjoy, and they go, hey, look, what if we softened this 70-year-old white woman by making her do an eardrummers type of deal? And everybody's like, yes, that will be or Ray Shrummed. Everybody will love the Ray Shrumeds and with Hillary Clinton because it shows that she's relatable. She's able to do the frozen selfie challenge on a plane that her campaign owns. Yeah, she's so relatable. Look, she's doing that thing that we do. I love her. She's great. By the way, her necklace costs more than your car. All right, so and I'm not saying she shouldn't own a nice necklace. If you're rich, live up to your richness. I'm not saying that rich people should be fucking giving all their money away and not being rich. If you're rich, be rich. Don't be disgusting about it. I mean, but also at the same time, if you come along and you go, hey, I can do what the poors do, don't be surprised when the poors go, well, fuck you, man. This is what the poors do. We're poor. If we were rich, I wouldn't be bothering with fucking poor people. That's the thing. Rich people try to do that thing where they cross the gulf and they're like, haha, look at me. Remember when Mitt Romney said fucking who let the dogs out? And everybody's like, yeah, Mitt, he's trying to be relatable. No, you're not. Don't be relatable. You got a chef. Honestly, rich people, you have a fucking chef. You don't get to pretend that you're me. You don't. I gotta make Kraft macaroni and cheese out of a box. You can actually press a button on your phone that says mac and cheese, and the mac and cheese mobile drives into your fucking house because you've got that much room, or it's delivered on horseback. I don't know. You've got a giant fucking hallway. There's exotic animals loping through your living room, and they would deliver you fresh mac and cheese, probably with a Gruyere, possibly a Brie, maybe a Camembert. Some fancy cheese, not orange powder. I'm eating orange fucking powder, and I'm supposed to be impressed by you and your selfie challenge? The fuck out of here, Mitt. Who let the dogs out? Not you. You don't even know what dogs are. The guys who programmed you said, hey, dogs are something the poors keep in their house, and for some reason, they spend part of their income feeding them. And he's like, why would they do that? We take a lot of their income away. Everybody goes, exactly, Mitt, but that's why they're the poors and you're not. Now go, please put on your magic underpants and talk to your 75 kids. Jesus, fuck. Go get a fucking picture and pose for it. I hate when the people do that. There's some fucking, who was the senator I just saw the other day? And he put out a picture. It was the same guy who said that in order to survive mass shootings, you got to get small. Fuck you, Steve Martin. Fuck you, balloon hat. You got to tell me to get small to survive a fucking shooting? How about you fucking put guns away? How about you fucking put guys with guns away? How about you do anything besides telling me it's my fucking fault? And then he puts out a picture of him and his family like all holding hands, and it's like, you're not small enough in that photo. Where's a fucking rifle scope when you need it? And I'm not advocating the death of a senator, unless it's a play. If you want to write a play called The Death of a Senator, I'm advocating that completely. But I'm not advocating anybody taking a punch out at a fucking senator. And you can't anyway, because he knows the secret. Go ahead, I dare you, try to kill that fucking dude. You know what's going to happen? He's going to get small, and you're going to look stupid. And then the next day in the paper, it's going to be like, Senator gets small, avoids assassination attempt, poor thrown in prison. I was going to say clink in prison. I don't think they use clink in the paper. I don't know what cartoon newspaper I'm writing. Poor thrown in the clink. Fuck. Quit telling me what to do and what I should do and how I should survive. And this is part of the question. Like I said, I threw out the fucking question to you guys where I'm like, hey, man, first of all, should I slow down? And I guess we've already answered that fucking question because I haven't and I won't. But I should. Let's try it again. All right, let's try the slowing down again. Hey, what's happening? Mike Schmidt, 40-year-old boy podcast. How are you? I'm good, thank you. Now, see, that's fucking dumb. That just sounds like some guy reading a script or a book. That doesn't make any sense. You got to fucking talk. You got to just vomit out words. I need to hit you with a goddamn ear cannon, I would say a word cannon. Yeah, not an ear cannon. I got to hit you in the ear with my word cannon. I got to blast you with like a fire hose of words. It's like, imagine that you guys are all like, you know who you are? You're all like, you're fomenting change in the 50s, and you're sitting at a lunch counter, and then I come out and I just blast you with a fire hose full of words, and you're rolling backwards. That's probably a bad analogy, I would imagine. You know, do me a favor. If I come at you with a word cannon, get small. Oh, man, you don't want to get fucking plowed with that. Nobody wants to get hit with a fucking phalanx of words, an avalanche of words, a fuselage of words, or a fusillade of words, not a fuselage. A fuselage is like a part of a plane, right? I wouldn't know. Let's ask Hillary. She owns a fucking plane. Does she still own one? I don't even know. And look, again, I was with her. I'm still with her because she's a good person, I think. She's kind of a, she's a lifetime politician. She's got her problems, and I get all that fucking shit. And a lot of people out there now are just like, I'm turning this show off. Good for you. I don't care. I think a lot of people out there would probably agree that I'd much rather have Mrs. Clinton in there than the current sentient gravy blob that we have in there right now, the current sentient tie stain, the current sentient movie theater floor, as I've called them, just sticky and unctuous and not good for anybody. He's just I can't, and this is, again, I don't want to do this. I really don't. I don't want to do this, but he makes it where you have to. I have to do all of this. And I got to be honest with you, David Hernandez is right. Hide in your fucking house and never talk to anybody. That's the way it should be. I'm all with Dave now. Because you know me, I've been hiding and I get under the coats and I'm like, I gotta get out there, man. I gotta go do stuff. I gotta be someone who gets noticed. I gotta be out there meeting people. And this weekend is Podfest. I'm gonna be out there meeting people. But fuck me, man. I'm not gonna be meeting anybody. I'm like, I can't. I mean, I will at Podfest, but I shouldn't. We shouldn't. Nobody should. David Hernandez has got it right. I got to Sherpa with him, man. I got to do something where I'm listening to him and following his advice. But also, I'll tell you what, though. Here's a little difference. You know, David lives in a castle. He's in a castle. He's very successful. His wife does very well. He's done very well because he's had a work ethic. He worked at a place for 20 years. I'm sure he's got a pension of some sort. He probably does not. He's going to laugh at me. But also, he's got his talents. He can hide. He's got his guitars. He's got his paintbrushes. And he has a work ethic. That's most important than anything. Like, he can go ahead and create paintings for you or write a song for you, and you'll pay him for it, and then he's making money. He's doing fine. And then he's Mr. Mom and my fucking godson, which I need him to do. That's important. Stay in your house and make my godson the best guy ever. Because that's my next fucking thing. I didn't have any kids. So now I'm hoping my godson makes it so he can fucking, his rising tide will lift my boat. That's all I want. I'm going to glom onto him for fucking anything. He's going to be either a knife fighter or just a fucking genius. I don't know what he's going to be, but he's going to be successful, and he's going to bring David and me, and we're just going to be able to jerk around in his house all fucking day. It's going to be awesome. I can't wait to be a fucking disgusting fat uncle who just hides in his house and eats all his food. Oh, my godson's the best. And I don't want to be disgusting or fat. I'm trying to lose weight. Again, tuck to my office chair. He'll tell you. Did he make a noise? He didn't. Hold on. I tried to shift around. So that was part of the question that I was going to bring to you in the beginning of the show. Can we just... I don't, can the world just stop? Because look, I want this to be a comedy show. I really do. I went into this 10 years ago. I went into my career 25 years ago thinking I would be funny and I would do comedy for people. And yet, here we are every week. There's just, I mean, it's not funny. It's absurd. Like, to have to talk about the shit I got to talk about now is fucking absurd. Fucking Trump goes to Puerto Rico. He wears his poor people khakis. He wears his second best golf blazer. And then he throws paper towels to people whose fucking country is underwater. What are you, fucking Rosie with the quicker picker upper, you fuck? Not that he even know what that was, because he's never watched television commercials in his life, because he's never had to, because he had butlers go ahead and call the networks and get a fucking feed that didn't have any commercials. Even growing up, he never had any commercials. He'd watch TV, certainly, but then during the commercials, his father would beat him, so he never got a chance to see them, because his father was a monster. God, I just love the name Fred Trump. That just sounds like a terrible, awful guy, doesn't it? I mean, Donald Trump at least has 2 syllables, Fred Trump. That just sounds like a punch in the face. And from what we've heard, that's what he did. Donald, he went to college, but he was supposed to go to military school or whatever, get the firms. I don't know enough about that fucking guy's history. All I know is the history that I know is him sitting in a boardroom and firing fucking David Allen Greer or whatever from fucking concerts, Jesus Christ, from contests where they made toast in Times Square and somebody didn't eat all their toast. I wanted it to be a comedy show. I really did. I went into this with the best of intentions. I said to myself, you know what? I'm going to do a podcast. I don't know if it'll last a year. And here we are in year 10. And I sapped all the fucking funny out in the first 9 fucking years because now year 10, the world ended. And I had to come in here and fucking do this. And I know a lot of you are going to be like, oh, the world's not ending. And a lot of people love this guy. Oh my fucking God, dude. I don't want to hear any conflicting opinions. I don't. Because look, here's the thing. I know how you feel. It's not like you're going to change my mind and I'm not going to change your mind. And social media, I don't have a career if it's not for the internet. You're finding me because of the internet, via the internet. I wouldn't be on television. I've been on television a few fucking times. And they went, who's that fat guy? And they never booked me back. I was on fucking game shows. I was winning. I was looking good and feeling okay about myself. I was on Funny Money. I did stand up on there, which was great. And then everybody went, yeah, now we're done. We're out of the fat guy business. Take a walk. I did commercials. I sold you products. I sold you FedEx. I sold you Coors. I sold you a Power Bar, but that one never aired. Look at me and my history, my long chartered history of acting. I'm an actor, folks. I don't know if you know that. I was in the play FedEx. I was terrific. I had 5 seconds of going, who wants some? Who wants some? And they filmed it, and they loved it, and they put me in the mix. I was great. And you know what? It's funny. I went to FedEx Academy after that, and they glad-handed me. They all gave me handshakes, and then they packed up all of the money I made from that commercial in a FedEx envelope and shipped it to me. I got my pay the very next day. That's the kind of perk you get when you work for a FedEx, when you film a commercial for a FedEx, when you fly to New York and you film for a FedEx, and you stumble out of the fucking set of The Sopranos one day. But I talked about that by year 2, folks. I've told you that fucking story. What the fuck? I talked myself into a fucking corner. Oh, here's what I wanted to say. I want to do comedy. I don't want to talk about the fucking world, and I don't want to go online and read about the fucking world anymore. But the thing is, even comedy online is this minefield now where anything you do is observed and torn apart and thought of. And I play to you guys and you're all like, you understand who I am. That's the thing. People who don't know me might not know who the fuck I am. But what a fucking horrendous week. Like, again, I'm supposed to do a comedy show. I'm supposed to be the one who makes you guys forget. But how do I make you forget that somebody shot 600 people? How the fuck do I do that? I think we did the same show with the fucking Orlando show. When the guy that went into the Pulse nightclub and he shot everybody and he called up and he was like, Allah Akbar, and then he killed 45 guys and he shot another 400. I don't even know. The fucking numbers are ridiculous. It doesn't matter. You kill one guy, it's too many. Quit killing people. And last week I'm like, be cool. Isn't that funny? I did a show where I'm like, hey, look, man, just be cool to people. This motherfucker blows out a window at the Mandalay Bay and just starts spraying down Jason Aldean's crowd. What the fuck, man? Those people are there to enjoy a concert. Jason Aldean is just doing a fucking show. That's a guy. Imagine being Jason Aldean. This is another fucking thing I hate about this country. And I hate to be that guy. I'm now ramping. The fucking frogs are gay. Now I'm Alex Jones. Slow the fuck down. This is something I'm trying to talk about, and I should focus in on it a little bit better. This was a terrible week. All right, a guy shot 600 people in Las Vegas, and we still don't know why. Nobody knows why. And then Tom Petty dies. Tom Petty, rock star, legend, genius, dies. Again, I'm supposed to do comedy in the face of this. Like, part of me was like, I should just fucking put up a rerun, like from the old days of something that was fun, because nobody wants to hear me going over the same shit over and over that other people want to lived. We lived it. We all lived the guy shooting 600 people. And look, I know I think I have listeners in Las Vegas. or had. Holy fuck, if they like country music, they might be in trouble. I have no idea. But I know there were people who were on board with the show in Nevada. I was, one of the first guys I visited and hung out with. I did the Riviera, and he came to a show, and then I went and had dinner with him afterwards. Who the fuck was that dude? He might be gone. If you're still listening, write me. Go ahead and do me a favor. Let me know that I've got one listener in Vegas who cares. Why have I made this about me? Why have I made it about me caring about... I care about you in Vegas. Let's put it that way. I don't care if you fucking contact me or not. If you're in Vegas and you listen to me, stay fucking strong. I love you. I hope you're doing well. And the very fact that you give me any attention at all honors me and makes me think that I hope good things happen for you for the rest of your lives. And I don't understand what is happening. None of us do. I also don't understand the people who double and triple down on explaining things that our president does when he's such a fucking buffoon. Look, and I have friends out there. Again, I'll get into the gun control debate, and everybody's gonna fucking yell, and I'll get into that fight. I don't proclaim to be smart. I don't proclaim to be a guy who knows a lot about this. But I do know that if you can get weapons that allow you to kill 60 people and wound another 550 at one time. Dude, you just shot a small suburb. Think about that. You fucking just gunned down a small suburb. Who needs that? Why would you ever need that? I'm not saying take guns away from people. I'm not saying that fucking people shouldn't have weapons. What did I talk about last week? Buying a fucking gun, because the way I see the world changing, I need to get one or two and learn how to use them. But Jesus fucking Christ, can't anybody, because I just read today another guy who's like, hey man, it's America. If I want to buy 3 guns or 30, you can't predict what I'm going to do with them. And I shouldn't have to give up my rights because of one lunatic who, I get that. That's fine. That works out great. I understand what you're saying. Remember when the guy tried to wear the fucking bomb shoes out of the airport, out of the plane? He wore shoes with a bomb in them, the shoe bomber guy. That guy, he literally tried to light his shoes on fire, and they caught him, and it turned out he had explosives in his shoes. What happened? Now, every time you go to a fucking airport, you got to take your fucking shoes off. Because of one fuckstick who had a horrible beard who looked like fucking Jamiroquai who tried to set fire to his goddamn shoes. So guess what? You can make that rule. You can make that law. You can. Look, it's not taking away your liberties to say you can't own a bump stock and a fucking gun that would cartoonishly kill people in a machete movie. Jesus fucking Christ. This is the kind of gun that Rambo carries around as a joke when he has the 2 fucking bandoliers of bullets around his chest and he's just at maximum flex going, it's a joke in a movie. It makes you laugh because of the overkill. You want that in your yard? You want that in your fucking garage? Why? So you can make YouTube videos where you shoot cantaloupes? Nobody fucking needs an AR-15. Nobody needs a weapon like that can massively destruct. That's exactly what it is. A weapon of mass destruction. A weapon of mass casualty. Hey man, you want Glocks? Take them. You want pistols? Get them. You want a Derringer and tuck it in your fucking asshole? I don't care. Shit it out and shoot somebody when they break into your fucking house. Good for you. I'm not saying you can't do that. I'm not saying you can't have weapons, but man, be logical about this. I don't understand why logic goes away. When people immediately think, oh, they're coming to take our guns. Nah, man, dude, nobody's coming to take our fucking guns. They're not. Everybody said Obama was going to take their guns for 8 years. Let me ask you this. Who in the government's going to take your guns now? Trump wants you to have fucking guns. You know why? Because he wants you to shoot all the fucking immigrants and minorities who are fucking hanging around. They don't give a fuck. Nobody cares about you individually. The guns are just an issue. It's just the same thing with abortion. Nobody gives a fuck really if you have an abortion. It's just a way to control people. That's it. Religion and bullshit and nonsense and money and what the fuck is going on? Let's leave, right? He shot over 600 people. Let's get 600 of you and let's form a fucking community. Let's just go somewhere. And look, we can all have guns. We can all be happy and we'll all broadcast or whatever the fuck we want to do. Let's get a fucking thing where we grow food and laugh and joke around and swim and play volleyball. Let's get a summer camp. That's what I want to do. I know what you did last summer. You fucking disappeared with Mike into the goddamn woods and 600 of us fucking built cabins and had a good time. It's like Amish. Let's be Amish Schmidt. Let's add a fucking other syllable on there. Let's go be Amish Schmidt. We'll all grow fucking weird beards and we'll live out in the fucking Pennsylvania hinterlands. I got some Pennsylvanians out there that want me. The Latvian Society loves me. They're out there. Fucking Sarah J was out there. She loved me. She wants to be a part of this. Probably not anymore. I don't know if these people still listen, but they used to be on board. And if they're on board, man, let's fucking go out there. Do me a favor, just scout some fucking property. And look at these other fucking countries or cities or fucking states that aren't using any room. I was talking about, it's funny, Rick Wilbank's a listener to the show. Remember Rick? I fucking tore him apart when I was in Canada and then I was pissed and I had to apologize and I felt bad about it and he was nice about it. Well, he wrote me And he showed me a video of him shooting stuff. And I'm like, dude, I gotta fucking learn how to do that shit. And I go, you better stockpile some targets so I can get up there. He's like, man, you'll probably be needed after the fucking all the shit hits the fan. I'm like, well, nobody needs me. He's like, well, there's more room up here. He goes, we got less people in this country than you got in your state. And so in my head, I'm like, man, Canada doesn't sound bad. Catherine and Matt Sweeby are like, I talked about them in their wedding here a couple of weeks ago. They live in a nowhere town. They live in a fucking snow globe. And I'm like, why don't I go up there? Just hide. Let's all do it. I can't go alone. I need you guys to come with me. That's the thing. Come and hold my hand and be with me and let's make this happen, please. Because I don't know what the fuck is happening here. I don't. And I see people argue, and the arguments are so ridiculous. Like I said, that dude is like, hey man, what if I wanted to buy 3 or 30 cars? Are you going to tell me because of car accidents I can't? It's not the fucking same. Quit shooting the goalposts. Quit shooting the straw man in the fucking head and having all of his straw brains drip all over the straw fucking ground. We're talking about weapons that will fucking destroy a small city. Because honestly, if you got 3 like-minded dudes, let's say you got, like, let's get 3 dudes like that fucking idiot in Vegas. You get the 3 of them together, they get a bunch of fucking weapons, and then they just storm into a town, Blazing Saddles style, and they fucking do a number 6 on them, and they fucking blast the shit out of everybody. They could kill a small city. My brother Glenn lives in South Dakota. He lives in a fucking, I don't even know the name of the town, but it's got like a school, a pool, a fool, some drool, some gruel. It's got only things that rhyme with ool. That's what they've got. He lives in Ool, South Dakota. And you know what happened? An owl flew in there. They chased him out. They go, no, I don't think so. And he goes, no, I'm Mr. Ool, because he had an accent. They're like, get the fuck out of here. Who do you think you are? Yes. God damn it. I want to make that the name of the show. All right. So, who do you think you are? That's on the fly. See, that's what happens. If I'm doing it slow, that shit doesn't happen. If I'm doing this slow, how do I ever think about what an owl says or what people say to Mr. Ool, who came in with the accent? And by the way, I'm going to make myself laugh because I'm going to tell you this and you're going to think I'm an idiot. When I said, I'm Mr. Ool, I actually faked putting a monocle on. I was a fake owl putting a monocle on at my own house. God damn it. There's nobody here. Nobody sees that. Nobody's looking in my window. None of my neighbors went, hey, is he putting on a fake monocle? Although, you know what? It was that kind of motion, though, if you saw me do it. The only thing I could have ever been doing is putting on a fake monocle. There was no way. I wasn't like a magnifying glass where I was looking for clues. It was literally I held it and I adjusted it into, I'm doing it now. I adjusted it directly into my eye because I often keep a fake monocle around, folks, because I'm very pish and sometimes posh. All right, man, so let's move. Let's get the fuck out of here. And you know what? Here's another rule. When we go somewhere, no internet. That's it. I'm calling it right now. I mean, if I get maybe I'll send up my show via carrier pigeon. Maybe I'll try to get a fucking radio station going or something. But I'm ready to walk away from the internet. Fucking full stop. I just can't read it anymore. Like I said, just the stuff that has happened this week. Trump, like I said, Trump in Puerto Rico. I can't even, it's not even, like people, here's the thing. It's stupid. He's a fucking ghoul. We get that. He's a dumb fuck. That guy is just a doorstop and a wig. And he does things, and he steps on his dick, and he, like I said, throws paper towels to people in Puerto Rico, tells them to have a good time, goes today to fucking Vegas, and he's looking at people in bed, and he's staring at them, and telling, I guess, victims or whatever. And look, I'm sure those people were happy to see him, because there is some gravitas to the office, and maybe there are people there who were shot who were actually Trump supporters and were thrilled. They were happy to meet him. So good on him for going to try to meet people. And that's what I'm saying. It's like, it's easy to demonize this fucking guy because he is a monster. He is a terrible person. I think he's a racist. I think he's a narcissist. I think he does not care about anything other than himself and his own image. He does not want to have anybody make fun of him or say bad things about him. He has to fight no matter what. He has no self-awareness where, like, if he's the kind of guy, like, if he tripped and someone kind of chuckled, he'd have them fired. In the old days, he would have their head cut off. Now he just has them fired. He's just that guy. He's a blustering buffoon. He's every fat guy at the bank in a 1950s black and white movie going, harumph! I mean, he's that fucking asshole. But he's more dangerous than them because he thinks he's cool. He thinks he's smart. Like I said, the fact that he'd say shit like, oh my God, I could have been in the NBA, or I could have been a fucking baseball player, I would have played football, all that bullshit where he has to claim that he could have done any alpha male bullshit, but instead he concentrated on building stuff. You know why? Because his dad punched him during commercials and he found a way to escape him. He was just like, maybe I'll follow my dad into the business. Dad, what do you think? Oh, okay, Dad, thanks. I appreciate that. Oh, okay, fantastic. Fred Trump, right? It's Fred Trump? Yes, sir. Thank you, Fred. Because his dad, he had to call his dad Fred. That's why now he'll say father instead of dad. He never had a dad. It's like that line from Cobain where he's like, I tried so hard to have a father, but instead I had a dad. That's not a bad Cobain. Although it should have ended with a gunshot, quite frankly. It wasn't good enough to sustain it, so I probably should have shot myself. I tried hard to have a father. That's loud. But instead I had a dad. That line really crushed me when I heard it the first time. I knew exactly what he meant. I did. Or at least, let's put it this way. I knew exactly what my interpretation of that line was, and it fucking laid me out. I was like, man, that's a rough-ass line to sing. No wonder he's taking the spike all goddamn day. That and being married to fucking Courtney Love, getting tricked into that fucking marriage. Can you imagine? I mean, look, I'm not a guy who, I don't have a domestic life anymore. I got a house. I mean, I guess I have a domestic life, but it's just me. So I come home and I have a fucking bottle of water if I want to make some soup or whatever the fuck. But can you imagine walking in the door and seeing fucking Courtney Love and she's just playing her axe, or she's got a heroin needle sticking out of her neck and she hasn't made you dinner? And not that Cobain wanted dinner, but at the same time, he tried hard to have a father, but instead he had a dad. Well, he tried hard to have a wife, but instead he had a fad. He was a fucking chick who was talking about doll parts and not cooking anything and jumped right into the fucking same music that he did. And I guess she was good when Billy Corgan wrote her songs. I don't know. I don't know anything about Courtney Love, and I'm sure she's a wonderful, lovely person. Please, by all means, write me and argue when you're like, I tell you what, man, I knew Courtney and she was terrific. Yeah, good for you. All right. Courtney Love not invited to our community. And so, again, like I said, Rick invited me to go to fucking Canada. He's like, come up here. And in my head, I'm like, you know what? That doesn't sound like a bad idea. I just talked about Pennsylvania and hiding out in the fucking hinterlands there, but man, there's a lot of hinterlands up in Canada. And isn't it warm sometimes? Like, I don't want to go to Winnipeg. We had friends in Winnipeg, and that's just fucking desolate. I mean, that's just a place you can't go because it's bitter ice chill and fucking that wind with teeth. I don't want to get bitten by the wind. Oh, man. There's another one. I should write that down. Fuck, I don't want to get bitten by the wind. I'm not going to clap. I'm going to write that down. I don't want to get bitten. That's a long title. Jesus. You should see the way this looks. It's so terrible. Perhaps I'll put it on the Joker's page. I threaten to do that a lot. All right, hi. So, let's go up to fucking Canada. Let's go to Pennsylvania. Let's just hide. And like I said, no internet. That's the key. That's the fucking key. Because this fucking thing happened this week where everybody is losing their minds over the guy who shot 600 fucking people. Say it out loud. I used to do that after 9/11. I've talked about it on here before. I've been like, 11 dudes grabbed 4 planes and tried to fly. They flew into the World Trade Center, the Pentagon. They were going to fly into the White House. They were going to smash everything. I used to say, nothing's going to be the same ever again. Nothing's going to be the same. And, it took a couple months, but everything was back to being the same. Still had the World Series, still had Super Bowls, still had people putting out music, still had fucking Britney Spears. She was still around. I mean, nothing really changed, except for the fact that everybody got even more scared at Muslims. And now to this day, people are like, that's who's causing all our problems here. Really? Let's go talk to Steve, the guy who just shot 600 people. You think he's got anything to say about it? We're all worried about Muslims and the others and Mexicans and DACA and let's move these people, and I can't believe these people are here stealing our jobs. Well, I got news for you. You know what? Steven just stole the job of about 25 Muslims, in your opinion, because he killed fucking 50 people and shot another 600 or whatever the fuck. If you want to really say to yourself, well, Muslims are the cause of all the problems, then whose job is fucking Steve stealing? Fucking Steve, the white guy who set up shop, the rich white guy, not even. Now, it's not even just he's a white guy. Because if it was the poors, you'd go, oh, well, the poors did it because they're dissatisfied. But no, he's a rich white dude who decided to fucking just blast away at everybody. And with no agenda and like no reason and no note. And so that's another thing I'm talking about with the fucking, the internet, where I got to get rid of it because he shoots 600 people. All right, I got to tell you, the first night it happened, I was on Twitter. I was out driving. I was fucking Ubering and lifting in the gig economy because, again, that's how far we've fucking fallen. That's our life now. I go out and I drive my car at my expense to try to make as much money as I possibly can. And if anything bad happens, I have to go fund me, and you guys jump in and throw me some money. Just like these people who were in the... I saw a picture, again, I don't know if it's real because you never know with the fucking internet. But there was a dude, supposedly he saved 30 lives. They said he was a dude, he was sitting there, he had no shirt on, he had like 3 bandages on, he's holding his phone, and just staring glassy-eyed into the camera. And they're like, this guy saved 30 lives, there's a GoFundMe for him. And I'm like, what a terrible fucking chain of events that we have in this country. You have to crowdsource your life. I talked about it last week when I said, how many times are they going to go to Medicare and try to fucking take away our health care? And I just read it again today. A guy I know on Twitter is tweeting, he's like, hey, they're using the distraction of Puerto Rico and Vegas to take away Medicaid for old people. I'm like, motherfucker, what is going on? Is anything good ever going to happen? Is anyone ever going to be happy? Is this fucking government ever going to do anything? Because again, the argument I always hear from people is always, hey man, the stock market's up. Hey, the GDP is fine. It's up like 3.1%. Man, get the fuck out of here with that. Who the fuck, you think poor people care about the stock market? Well, you should, because it allows the job creators to go ahead and create. Oh, no, it doesn't. It allows these people to put more fucking money in more fucking silk pillowcases and hide them in more safes. That's it. All these Scrooge McDuck motherfuckers get to collect another pool full of gold coins while I get to read about how good the stock market is as I drive one rich guy to the office and take another rich guy to an opera. And by the way, no rich guy's getting in my Camry. They're going with Uber fucking Black. Nobody's going with Uber X. Nobody's going with Uber Pool. None of the rich dudes. They can't be in a car with a poor. And I am clearly a poor. By the way, hi, Caitlin. I'm doing that because I drove a woman named Caitlin. And she asked on my show, and she seemed genuinely curious and wanted to know about it and talk about it. And then she said, I'm definitely listening this week. And I said, I don't believe that you are. And she's like, no, I think I'm going to. And I said, well, I will say hello to you. How about that? And then you write me a note, tell me that for sure you listened. And I know she's not going to fucking listen. But the sad thing is, this show's evergreen. So she could listen to this in 3 fucking years and then write me a note and go, haha, it's Caitlin. I did listen. And my baby is no longer a baby and is now 3 years old. Because I picked her up, she was out at a show. She went to see a couple of bands, and then her baby was sleeping, and it turned out her partner, significant other, I don't know if it was a husband or might not have been the father of her child. We didn't get that deep into conversation. We wound up talking about podcasts and comedy, which is something that people want to talk about for some weird reason when they ask me what I do. And I go, well, I do this a lot of the time. And they're like, well, but you must do something else. Which I actually like people who do that. They make that assumption because when they talk to me for like 5 minutes, they realize, hey, you're not just a mute ape. You're actually a guy who might be able to hold a conversation every once in a while. So then they'll actually talk to me. Because as you know, I've talked about this before. In my Uber and my Lyft, I give them the speech when they sit down. And then I will say, how you doing or how's your day? And if they want to talk, they can say it and they'll ask me and we'll have a conversation. But if I say, hey, how's it going? Or how are you today? And they just go, fine. And they look at their phone. We're done talking. I don't need to bother you. Trust that I've been on the other side of that so many other fucking times in the back seat where a guy's been like, hello, how are you, my friend? Would you like bagel? Would you like English muffin? I'm like, well, you have a toaster in this fucking car? How the fuck does that work? Yes, I have rigged the glove compartment to be toaster. Would you like hummus? Yeah, that's what I want. It's an English muffin with hummus. What? Where the fuck am I? Everybody tries way too fucking hard to be a friend. Now look, I'm just a guy who does a good job and my star rating is 4.9. So get fucking bent, man. 2 years at a 4.9. I've never been more proud of anything in my life. How does that grab you? 25 years in this business, talking to you and making you laugh. And sure enough, I get a 4.9 on Uber after 2 years. And I'm like, yeah, that's right. Let me crack those knuckles because the general public thinks that I'm a decent driver. Fucking awful. I should drive off a fucking cliff. I should take my 4.9 and hold hands with Susan Sarandon and just plummet myself into a gorge somewhere while a fucking helicopter burns fuel and stares at me on the way fucking down. And by the way, if I'm going to take anybody with me, it's going to be Susan Sarandon at this point, right? Wasn't it her fault that all this shit happened? Wasn't she like a Jill Stein person and she fucking put Trump in office? That's what I keep reading on stage. Again, you know why? Because I keep reading on stage. I keep reading online. I keep reading this shit online because, again, the internet needs to fucking go away. I can't anymore. I can't. And yet I do. I can't. And yet I do. This dude shoots 1 million people in Vegas and people are losing their fucking minds, which I get. We should lose our fucking minds. But instead of losing their minds and thinking, man, we got to do something about these guns, everybody instead is trying to come up with the best conspiracy theory for why this guy did what he did. Well, it was a false flag. Bush had 9/11, and then this guy, they needed to have a false flag now so they can go ahead and take your gun. What the fuck are you talking about? I mean, these are legitimate things I've seen people post. I've seen people say, well, when they got into the room, the body was cold. And so obviously he had been there for a while. They planted him and the cops were the ones who did the shooting and they walked up. What the fuck? What are you talking about? How do you know the body was cold? People always give you this he had a camera set up in the hallway and he had a camera set up over the peephole. Well, those are true things. Well, yeah, but he didn't set them up. They were set up by other guys, his co-conspirators, and those cameras were actually fed into another room, but they cut them off just before the cops came into the room and they burst in. What? How the fuck do you know that? Because I know, man, because there's no way that this just happened. You ever try to break a window in a Vegas hotel suite? No, I never have, actually. I can't even open a window in a fucking Vegas hotel suite. Well, I'll tell you what, they're pretty much unbreakable, so we had to have some sort of industrial tool that was provided by a rival government. Oh, my fucking God. Or a sledgehammer. Or whatever else. Or, you know what? He did have 75 fucking guns in there. Maybe he shot the fuck out of the window and then shot the rest of the people. You ever think about that? Jesus, quit looking for explanations and trying to make shit up. Sometimes the library and the book depository are just the library and the book depository, okay? There doesn't need to be a grassy knoll. The mob doesn't need to be involved. Castro doesn't have anything to do with it. Kaepernick and his pig socks. They never had anything to do with Stephen Paddock getting a gigantic fucking amount of weapons and just deciding to fuck everybody up. Now, would I like to get answers? Of course I would. But it doesn't mean you make up answers. It doesn't mean you stare into space and go, well, this isn't right. Obviously something else is going on. No, man. Sometimes people just fucking fry their brains. Sometimes people just fucking flip a switch and they lose their fucking mind. And when they do that, you know what you gotta hope? That they haven't had access to gigantic fucking weapons, you fucks. Look, if that guy wants to have a fucking couple of Glocks, knock out the window of his 32nd floor thing and just start blasting away, well, he's not going to hit anything but air because the bullets are going to make it down 400 yards to those fucking people. And he's not going to have any aim. And then he's going to be out of ammunition. You know what he's going to do? He's going to go back downstairs and play nickel slots. Good for you, Paddock. You broke out of your fucking slump. You went out, you shot fucking 16 shots, and then you went down to go play some goddamn nickels. Good for you. Win it. Get a handful of Thomas Jeffersons and improve your mood. But no, everybody has to look for a fucking excuse. Everybody has to look for a reason that he did it. Everybody has to look for funding behind it. Everybody's like, no, I tell you what, I got friends in the army, and they tell me that there's no way that these fucking guns could have been smuggled up there. There's no way he would have gotten 15 fucking, bullshit. You see the size of that suite? They don't ask those fucking people any questions. You see the size of his credit lines at these fucking casinos? Those guys get anything they want. You telling me because he brought 10 suitcases up, they're going to go, what are they, you think at some point the desk clerk's going to go, I'm sorry, you have far too many clothes, Mr. Paddock. We're not going to allow it. It's funny, I talked to Lily the other day. Lily's like, hey, I brought 10 fucking bags into a hotel suite. Yeah, no fucking kidding. She's got boa fans and rhinestones and all sorts of bullshit. But did anybody fucking go through her bags or rifle through them? No. The real issue is that there are people out there who they need an answer because they cannot believe they live in a world where a random white guy had 75 fucking guns and was able to shoot 600 people with no real motive. That's it. Because people nobody can just believe in crazy. Nobody can just believe in chaos. They have to have an answer. They have to have a solution. I mean, to this fucking day, I'm still hearing that there was a truck bomb at the Pentagon in 2001. Because the initial reports came over. Well, dude, I got news for you. Initial reports are fucked. Like I said, this Twitter shit was hitting the fucking fan, and I was out driving, I was Ubering, and I fucking saw the first thing that came over on Twitter was like, possible shooting in Las Vegas. And then another one was like, possible casualties at shooting in Las Vegas. So I pulled over, and then I started to pay attention, and then people started to write mass casualties at shooting in Las Vegas. So I sat for an hour on the side of the road following it on Twitter, and I was texting with Randy, and we were going back and forth, and I'm like, are you seeing this? And she's... You'll get to know Randy as we move on, but she's a gentle soul and she's got a great energy. She's kind of hippie-ish, and I didn't want her. This speaks to who I am. And yes, I have a savior complex and I have a protect all women complex. I know this, but I didn't want her to hear it like via bulletin or the news. I wanted to kind of tell her in a way, because I even said, "Are you, honey, are you watching news? Are you watching anything?" And she was watching some black and white movie, which was nice. And then I said, "All right, well, look, there's something happening right now in Las Vegas. I don't know if you're," what I said to her, I said, "Are you a news person?" She goes, "Well, I like to know what's going on." I said, "Okay, well, I don't know if you're watching the news now or anything." She goes, "No, she was watching TCM because that's her jam. She watches TCM every goddamn night." When she's in the house, she takes care of her kids and she watches TCM. She'll write me. She'll be like, "Yeah, there's some guy in a top hat on." I'm like, "All right, beautiful, honey. I love it. I bet it's fantastic." So I started texting with her as I was on the side of the road and I'm looking at shit that's happening. And I'm like, this is just, and I was even telling her I was guilty. I said, "Look, I'm following this and it looks really terrible." And I was sending her screenshots and I was sending her videos. And I said, they're saying there's shots being fired at the Tropicana. There's shots being fired at the New York. I go, this looks like a wave of attacks, because that's what Twitter was saying. And there were people with like scanners and they were listening and they were saying that there was a guy gunning people down on the floor in the New York. All these fucking reports were flying out at us. And I'm listening and I'm like, Jesus, it must be a fucking war zone there. What the hell is happening? And then you saw the videos of the actual shootings and you heard the fucking ridiculous amount of bullets and gunfire. And people freaking out, and it's just scary as fuck. I can't even imagine being in that situation. And I can't even imagine living in a country where someone could buy the amount of weaponry needed to foment that much chaos. Why? Why is it allowed? I'm not saying take away all your fucking guns. You can have handguns.
That protects you and protects your house. You can go out shooting or target practice. You want to have rifles or shotguns for hunting? That's fine. But nobody needs an automatic fucking weapon. And yes, I know I'm going to get that bullshit where it's like, well, automatic weapons are banned and it's the bump stocks that made it automatic. I don't fucking, whatever. Fine. AR-15s. I don't know what the fuck they are because I don't know the vernacular and I don't know what guns do other than fucking murder people in mass quantities. But I was texting with her and I said, you know what, I'm going home. So I went home to watch it, and you watch it unfold on television. On Twitter is a very different thing because on television, they're just like, look, we're not confirming anything. We don't know what's happening here. We're saying that there's an event happening in Las Vegas. Meanwhile, Twitter is saying 75 people are dead at the New York on the floor. There's still gunmen that are loose. And I mean, I knew, let's put it this way, I knew the girlfriend's name, whatever the fuck her name is. I knew her name and her address the day before it ever came out. Because on Twitter, people said they said it on the police scanner because they found the fucking casino card on the floor. So they put that out there. So I fucking searched her on Facebook right away. That's how fucking sick it is. I went and I looked for her. I found her on Facebook. I thought it was her. Again, this is a weird thing. Her name's like, I don't know, Mary Lou Gentile, whatever the fuck. I don't want to say. I'm tired of using real names on this show. Go look her up in the fucking news. But the point is, I Googled it, I put her on Facebook, and there's like 3 people with that name, which makes no fucking sense. I mean, because it's such an odd name. And then they were saying that she was Asian, and then I looked and a couple of these women looked Asian or Filipino. I don't know. So I didn't know who was who, you know, and then it didn't have anything about them and their jobs. But then I'm thinking to myself, what the fuck are you doing? Because again, this is how bad it is. These women didn't do anything. One of them, you know, it was a guy that they knew who went and killed 1 million fucking people. That's it. And look, are we going to find out eventually that she was behind it? Because now that's another thing. The next day, another conspiracy theory. Well, you know, she's from the Philippines, and there's tons of ISIS in Philippines. And, you know, she went to Dubai once, and there's a picture of her with a building. And I'm like, holy motherfuck. Are we going to tie this into the Middle East no matter what you do? And look, there's a very good chance in a week I look stupid on this. But right now, it looks to me like a fucking crazy rogue white dude went bananas. I don't know why, and he shot 600 people because a switch flipped in his fucking head. Sometimes the silicon chip inside your head gets switched to overload, and nobody's going to a country concert in Las Vegas. They're going to make them all stay home. It's just the fucking way it works. But the internet, again, like I said, it's terrible enough in the world when shit like that happens, or when Tom Petty dies. But then I plunge myself into the internet, and I see the conspiracy theories, and I see the people refusing to believe any of the truth and not believing anything. That's the deal, all right? When the initial reports came out, it was all chaos. But now they're getting a handle on it. They're revealing a little more about this guy, and they're saying who he is and what he did. And still people are like, nah, don't believe it. Nah, did you see that room? No, there's no way he did this alone. There's no way he afforded those weapons by himself. Well, no, they're saying that he had money because he had an apartment complex and he was a gambler. Nah, doesn't matter. I'm telling you, this is a plot, and here's why. Because the Freemasons, when the full moon is full, they have a meeting, and they meet the stonecutters, and they all drink out of steins, and then Homer Simpson comes in. Jesus fucking Christ. Throttle down, motherfucker. Not everybody gets to be the amazing Randy. You don't get to debunk fucking everything, okay? Right now, it looks like one white dude went bananas and shot everybody. Just sit tight and fucking wait. But that's the problem, is everybody jumps to it. Everybody tries to figure out what the fuck is happening too quickly. They want to be the ones with answers. Because again, like I said, they can't process the fact that one dude could have caused this much carnage, or they just want to be first on the scene. And I've talked about this before. I wanted to be first on the scene forever. I wanted to be that guy for a really long time in my life, where I wanted to break the news to everybody. Hey, did you hear about this? Oh my God, this trade. Oh, this happened and this. And then I realized why. Everybody's going to fucking know. And also, because I can't compete with Twitter. I can't compete with that fucking thing. Twitter is so quick and so fast. Social media is in an instant. People get information. I can't compete with that. By the time you call anybody to talk about a score or a trade or anything, everybody knows what the fuck is going on because it's out there. And not only is it out there, but the snarky take is out there. Everybody's already making fun of it. Fucking Tom Petty dies on Monday. And that comes out. I walked out of Shannon's office. I was in therapy. And I walk out. I get to my fucking... And I grab my phone when I finish. And I get a text from Randy. She's like, oh, honey, Tom Petty, cardiac arrest. And I'm like, oh, my God, dude. So I Google it and I look. And already they're saying he's dead. They're saying he's dead and he's going to be... And it goes around. And, of course, people are giving their tributes. And everybody's talking about that. And then, of course, people are making fun of it. There's people who are making jokes. And then it turns out he's not dead. And then his daughter has a freak out on Instagram at Rolling Stone. And in the interval, like I said, when I'm thinking about it, and I went, you know, Tom Petty's he's dead. He had a cardiac arrest and he might be brain dead. Let's wait for news. Let's see what the fuck happens. There's no reason to speculate. There's no reason to be the first one out there with your goddamn tribute and go, I liked him more. Breakdown. Go ahead and give it to me. I loved him. Yeah, okay, you loved him. A lot of people loved him. And he was important to a lot of people. Like Randy's friend Debbie, Tom Petty was her Beatles. And that's one of the cutest thing about Randy. The first thing she ever asked me, she goes, "Who's your Beatles? Who's your Beatles?" Debbie's Beatles was Tom Petty. And Debbie saw Tom Petty at the Hollywood Bowl, his final show. Randy was going to go and begged off. She was like, 'cause she had a crazy weekend, and she's like, you know what, man, I don't think... by the way, can you hear these people shouting in my courtyard? I don't know if they're just yelling in the apartment next to me, if they're having... I don't know, because sometimes the guys next to me will watch soccer and go crazy cheering. And maybe they're fucking hearing me shout through the goddamn wall, too. That's probably... I don't know. They all just shut up and went, hey, you hear this fucking guy talking about the shooting at length? Maybe we should call the cops. Maybe we should get somebody in this guy's fucking apartment. But Randy was going to go to the Hollywood Bowl, and she begged off, and she didn't go. And I remember when I looked at the set list, and I go, you know, it's not a great set list. I go, you know, we'll see him next time or whatever. And then, of course, you don't get it next time. It's fucking terrible. It is terrible. But you know what? I told you I learned my lesson when Prince died. Because then everybody's like, oh my God, did you hear how he died? Oh my God, he was in an elevator. He was by himself. And maybe there were people there, and the guard was off duty. And you know, David said to me, he goes, hey, man, who cares? He's fucking dead. Prince is gone. That's all that matters. Is it going to taint your memory of him if he died from fentanyl or if he fucking fell down a flight of stairs? Or do you really need to know that information? I mean, I used to be on a need-to-know basis all the fucking time about everything in the goddamn world. And now, you know what? If you're dead, you're dead. I don't need you to fucking delve into it. I don't need an autopsy. I don't need you to tell me more about the guy because I'm not going to think less of Prince. And I'm not going to think more of him either if he died of a stomach ache. It's not, you know, he's just gone, man. Tom Petty is just gone. So for these people to race to prove how much they loved him and how he meant so much more to them than to anybody else. And I even thought about it. Again, in this me-first society, my first instinct was, fuck, that's a drag, man. And then I talked to Randy about it. We were texting, and I went, you know what, I was going to put up a song lyric. I'm like, well, that seems like a decent tribute to put up a song lyric about him. And then I went, why are you doing this? I mean, he didn't mean the world to you. You liked Tom Petty. He was good. But he wasn't like David Bowie to me, or he wasn't like Prince to me. I mean, I love Tom Petty. He was a fucking rock and roll genius. He was around forever, and he's a guy who's got probably 25 fantastic songs that I love. But I mean, it wasn't anybody that I went out of my way to go, oh my God, Tom Petty, holy fuck. So it felt stupid and disingenuous for me to go ahead and try to put up some kind of thing online where I'm paying tribute to him. But if you did, I don't care if you did. Good for you. If you loved him that much and you felt like you needed to do it, that's great. But what I'm saying is on the internet, there's so many people fighting and jockeying for position to be the first and tell you they were the first one to know about this. And oh my God, he meant more to me. No, I loved him. I loved him more than you did. Breakdown. Oh, the waiting, that's the hardest part. Hey, that's a joke about him not dying. I'll go ahead and put it up. Fuck you, man. Fuck you. Why? Why do it? What's the point? It's not worth the typing. It's not worth the font you're using. Back the fuck off. And then, even worse, the takes come in where Tom Petty has to be, he's not just a fabulous musician, a rock and roll Hall of Famer who died. He has to be the greatest American band leader of all time. That comes in. And then not only that, people say that, and then they're like, yeah, he was always better than Springsteen. You know, Springsteen tried to be America. Petty was America. Oh my God, I actually read these things. Some guy wrote, you know what, Springsteen never needed Petty never needed a saxophone to give gravitas to his songs. Springsteen always hid behind that, or something like that. And I'm like, are you fucking joking? I mean, how do you disparage Jungle Land just to make Tom Petty look better? You don't need to. You can just talk about the joy you took from Tom Petty's music. There's no reason to tear up Springsteen. When I contacted Pat right after I found out, I was texting with Randy, and I know Pat had to be waylaid, and Pat was. He cried. He told me. He was in the car with his daughter, and she said, are you going to cry? He's like, yeah, I kind of am. And these motherfuckers are so loud, and it is so distracting to me, and I can hear it, and I don't know if you can, but fuck. I don't even know what they're doing. Like, you know what's so funny? I want to go out and just go, hey guys, can you keep it down? I'm trying to shout in the next room. Hey guys, do me a favor. Quiet down. I'm trying to be loud. Fucking stupid. But the thing is, like I said, I'm talking and I can fucking hear them and it drives me fucking crazy. But again, that was the shit, man. Everybody they have to tear apart other people to make Tom Petty great. And it's like, why? Why can't you just say you loved him? You don't need to tell me that Springsteen sucked because Tom Petty was great. No, Tom Petty was great. Springsteen's great. The Replacements are great. There's a ton of great American bands. Now, do I think maybe Springsteen and Tom Petty were certainly the final living standard bearers of that American rock? Yeah, I think so. Influenced by the Byrds and all those kinds of bands. I mean, you know, you can absolutely hear it in their music. And And Springsteen and Tom Petty were probably the like I said, the final standard bearers. And so for Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers to go away, it's such a fucking drag. And then I find out all the stuff afterwards about Tom Petty. He shook Elvis's hand. Don Felder taught him to play guitar. Like shit I didn't know. Dude, Mike Campbell wrote Boys of Summer. Tom Petty turned it down, so Mike Campbell gave it to Don Henley. And Don Henley added lyrics to it, and look what it turned into. Now, you might hate that fucking song, but still, if you do, if you love it, hey, praise Mike Campbell. If you hate it, fucking blame Mike Campbell. That's his fucking fault. But either way, I've given you a new fact, something to think about. But the internet is fucked. Everybody jumps in, they got their opinion, and they tell you this and that, and everybody's wrong. Everybody thinks that this guy has to be a part of a conspiracy theory. No, man, there's no way he could have done this by himself. There's no way Tom Petty dying isn't the worst event in the history of music. And it also makes Springsteen look like a tool bag because he has a fucking saxophone. Dudes, stop. Fucking stop. Same thing with Trump. Trump goes to Puerto Rico, he's throwing the fucking paper towels. He looks like a dumb fuck. And then it turns out that possibly the Secretary of State called him a moron or a fucking moron. And then he gets upset about that and he tweets about it. And people get freaked out and think he's the devil, he's this. We did this before. People did it with Obama. He's the devil, he's the Antichrist. People did it with Bush, the devil, the Antichrist. They're just dumb fucks. You know, if you don't like them, they're dumb fucks. And if you do like them, they're the greatest. But that's the thing. You have to understand there are people out there who like them. And I hate fucking schooling you guys. I hate trying to be that asshole. I'm a comedian, man. But there's nothing else to fucking talk about. Because I'll tell you what, even when you try to be fucking funny, they come for you. With the fucking long internet knives. Because it finally happened to me. Haha, that's right. I'll tell you this fucking story. They're looking for anything they can find on this fucking Stephen Paddock, trying to figure out why he did what he did. So he played a lot of fucking slot poker, and he was making money there, but nobody knows where he got his money, and he was mad at a couch, and one time in his house, and his brother, I tell you what, that interview with his brother, to me, I love it. I mean, because that's another thing. People are like, oh, it's a false flag. You can tell by his brother. His brother's a crisis actor. You can tell just by the way he fucking talks. I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? This guy just got told that his brother shot 600 people. How the fuck do you expect him to talk? He's dumbfounded. And he even tries to explain. He's like, I moved him. Like, I didn't see any guns. He's not a gun guy. He's not a fucking military guy. I don't know where he would have got these things. It makes no sense. And what was the other thing that he laughed? He actually laughed a couple times. He's like, I got nothing for you. I can't help you. He texted me the other day to see if we were safe from the hurricane. That's what I got. And I mean, he's so fucking dumbfounded again. Like he said, he's even laughing in the moment. And people are like, oh my God, that's so inappropriate. I'm like, it's not inappropriate. He doesn't know what the fuck to do. He doesn't know how to act. Imagine someone knocking on your door and going, hey, hi, we're from the press. Your brother just shot 600 people. 600, not one. Not your brother was in a car accident. You know, it's bad enough you get waylaid when you find out that your fucking family's had a heart attack or something. This guy just found out that his brother, who he's known his entire life and is never suspected to be a crazy person, just shot 600 fucking people. I don't think you can question any reaction he could have had. He could have plucked his own eyes out of his head and screamed. And you would have fucking went, yeah, that makes sense. Anything he did at that point was going to make sense. Because you know why? Nothing made sense. Whatever reaction he could have possibly had. Because again, how many people in this world have ever been had their door knocked on to be told that someone in their family just shot 600 people? So he's the standard bearer now. He's the guy who creates the way you're supposed to act when someone in your family shoots 600 people. And I think he handled it pretty fucking well. Down at the end of his driveway in a pair of shorts, shaking his head back and forth and just going, fuck, I don't know. He seemed like he's my brother. I mean, I moved him. And, I liked the girlfriend. We liked her. What do you want me to say? Like, and he's true. What do you want him to say? Oh, he's terrible. Because he doesn't even know that he's terrible yet. He doesn't know anything about him because he's also just realizing he literally knew nothing in the world about his brother. His brother was a creature that he couldn't even identify. Maybe even not the same species that he thought he was. He thought he had a loving brother. Instead, he finds out he's got this gargoyle that was capable of such a horrific act. So when the brother comes down and he deals with it, and then people criticize his reaction, fuck you. Man, fuck you. Tired of it. Quit telling people how to behave. Quit telling people how to be. Just be happy. Be yourself. Be cool. I said it last week. Hug your kids. Read them a fucking story. Make sure they don't grow up to be Stephen fucking Paddock. But they're coming for everybody. And look, I'm going to put myself on a cross here and you're going to make fun of me, but it fucking happened and it pissed me off. It pissed me the fuck off. They're looking for any reason to blame this guy for anything. They're trying to dig into his past, trying to dig into his future, talking to his family, whatever the fuck. And there was an article in the LA Times and it said that when he, all right, I'm laughing now because I shouldn't, absolutely not. But I guess he went to Starbucks, Stephen Paddock, and the article was that he would be mean to his girlfriend. Okay, so The article was that they talked to the staff at his Starbucks in Mesquite, Nevada, and he would go up to order his coffee, and then his girlfriend would go, "Hey, can we use your casino card to pay for the coffee or to get points?" And he'd go, I'm not. I'm not. You don't need to use my casino card. I'm paying for your drink just like I'm paying for you." And he was so rude to her in front of us, was what the people said at the Starbucks. So I saw the headline and I saw the little quote because it was tweeted out. The story was, and so I retweeted it with a joke. And it was a joke. And here's what I wrote. I said, "If rude at Starbucks is a harbinger of future domestic terrorist, this world is more unsafe than I thought." Because it's a commentary on the fact that they went to his Starbucks to find an opinion on him because they have nothing at all. So they had to go talk to Esmeralda, the brownie manager, to find out what she thought about the guy. It was a commentary on the media digging for stuff, trying to find answers. But it was also a commentary about the fact that you go to Starbucks and everybody can be an asshole sometimes. So I retweeted the article, like I said, and I wrote, "If rude at Starbucks is a harbinger of future domestic terrorists, this world is more unsafe than I thought." Well, what I didn't notice was that this had been tweeted out. Like I said, it was an LA Times article, but it had been tweeted out by a woman named Chloe who works at the Huffington Post. Not just working there, she's a senior front page editor. Now, I don't know anything about the Huffington Post except for the fact that the woman whose name is in the byline has a gigantic house. Like I said, it had basically a giraffe running through it when I brought her $8,000 worth of barbecue once. So that's my only touchstone with the goddamn Huffington Post. But Chloe didn't care for my joke very much. And she replied to me and she wrote, "What's described in this article is not rudeness. It's textbook verbal abuse. But don't let that get in the way of your quippy tweet." Well, look, I wasn't tearing off the layers of Stephen Paddock. I wasn't getting to the bottom of his relationship with his girlfriend. I was making commentary on the fact that the women said he was very rude to his girlfriend in front of us. Because when you get right down to it, the bottom line, whether it was textbook verbal abuse or however you want to compartmentalize it, he was still being rude in the abstract. When you look at the gigantic umbrella of all of it, he was still being rude. And so she tweeted that to me. She's like, "What's described in this article is not rudeness, it's textbook verbal abuse, but don't let that get in the way of your quippy tweet." By the way, Twitter, you know why it was invented? For quippy tweets. Fuck your tweet storm, fuck your minutes, fuck your, I gotta tell you 8,000 different things. I write jokes. I'm a comedian. Hi, I'm a comedian. So I read her thing and I thought to myself, well, did I misfire on this? Like, did I really miss it? Because I try to be on point. I try to be woke, as everybody would say. But Chloe didn't stop there. She wrote, "What's described in this article is not rudeness, it's textbook verbal abuse, but don't let that get in the way of your quippy tweet." Not a minute later, she actually retweeted me with my joke. And she wrote, "Men think it's cool to joke about domestic violence for the retweets, and this world is just as unsafe as I thought." I didn't care for that, quite frankly. In fact, it made me really fucking furious because I wasn't joking about domestic violence. I was joking about the fact that he was rude. Now, was he rude to his girlfriend? Like I said, if you want to go ahead and put your hat on and go, "Oh, this is textbook verbal abuse," and if you've never met them, you've never met the girlfriend, you've never been to the Starbucks and talked to the people. I read the article. Yeah, he was mean to his girlfriend. He also shot 600 fucking people. Not a good guy. I wasn't looking for a way to, and the only thing I could think of was, did she read it as me taking her to task and being like, "If rude at Starbucks is a harbinger of future domestic terrorists, this world is more unsafe than I thought"? Because that's not what I meant. I meant everybody can be rude at Starbucks. So to say that anybody doing that is a future domestic terrorist, that's a disconnect that I can't fathom. But then I love the fact that it went from textbook verbal abuse to domestic violence in like 30 seconds in her next tweet. Yes, domestic violence can be emotional. It can be mental. It can be cruelty. I get all that. Trust me, if there's anybody in the world right now who can get that, it's going to be me. But for her to then paint me in that way with it's cool. Men think it's cool to joke about domestic violence for the retweets. First of all, I got no retweets on my joke. I got 2 likes. She got 13 fucking likes and then 7 retweets on this. So I mean, I'll tell you what, a woman who thinks it's cool to take apart some guy for the retweets and misinterpret his joke makes this world as unsafe as I thought. The online world, which is bullshit. That's a lie. I don't really feel like that. I feel it's all fair game because it's Twitter. You know what it's about? Quippy tweets. And so she came back at me with a quippy tweet. "Men think it's cool to joke about domestic violence for the retweets, and this world is just as unsafe as I thought." Well, good for her. And then again, like I said in my head, I went, did I misfire on this? Because I was just talking about the rudeness. And then it also makes me think where I go, you know what, man? maybe I did do this wrong. But also, I don't think comedians should ever apologize, as you know. I don't fight with ghosts. I don't think comedians should apologize. But when she put it out there, she's got like 25,000 followers. So immediately I got some dude who wrote me and he's like, he wasn't rude about whether his macchiato was the right temperature. He was abusing his girlfriend in public. Try reading before tweeting. I did read it. Like I said, regardless of how you want to frame it, he was still being rude. I wasn't saying he wasn't mean to his girlfriend. I said he was being rude because he was being rude. Like I said, you can go and analyze it as deeply as you want. And here's me explaining myself to you fucking guys. Because in my head I went, do I explain myself to these guys? Do I fight with these people? I don't know if I should or I don't. I will. I'm not sure. I got no idea. And then another guy's like, yeah, it ain't a one-time thing that's out of character about having a bad day. They said he did it every time they were at Starbucks. And I'm like, yeah, that's fine. But dude, you're believing, like I said, Esmeralda, the fucking lemon bar manager. So I don't know who the fuck this is. But of course, then every cheap shot comes in and some guy's like, I actually think his Twitter handle is a perfect description of his thought process. Because, you know, the 40-year-old boy. Ha, you're scoring some points there, Edmund, with your American flag in your fucking Twitter handle. And then another guy quoted it, the 40-year-old boy. Yep, grow up. Thanks, Kevin. It was a fucking joke. I write jokes. I'm a comedian. And the response is whatever. It's Twitter. Who fucking cares, right? You would think, I just don't give a shit. And people come at me, like I said, it's not a joke, blah, blah, blah. Someone was killed in our area because of road rage. All right, blah. I mean, everybody's got a fucking opinion, and that's fine. And then when someone wrote, domestic violence propagates over generations. I don't know how to make it disappear except spinsterhood. Whatever. Men will always prove you're right. I'm like, dudes, fuck. Again, go read the rest of my timeline. I'm on your side. I mean, I'm you know, it just seems stupid that you would fucking, again, and it's a joke. Jesus fucking Christ. But you can't do it anymore. And this is the first time they've come for me, all right? This is the first time I've ever had anybody really do that. I mean, I get anonymous people all the time who'll fuck with me. They'll write me or they'll do stuff on Twitter. But this is the first time like someone retweeted me into their feed and I got fucking jabbed. But here's my favorite response to that tweet. Okay. She got a few responses. Like I said, people were like, oh my God, it's not a joke, whatever. Everybody, that's fine. Here's a response that she got. Domestic and emotional violence is no joke. People like this make things unsafe. People like this. That's me, by the way, in case you're wondering about who she's thinking about. It's people like this who make things unsafe with their jokes. You know, the joke I made about the guy being rude to his girlfriend in a Starbucks. I make the world an unsafe place. Apparently that equates to domestic and emotional violence. Or maybe she's thinking that the domestic and emotional violence was that guy and I shouldn't make sport of it, even though I've talked about how I can make fun of kind of anything and I try to. Whatever, it doesn't matter. But again, everybody gets their tweet. Everybody gets their quip. But this line, domestic and emotional violence is no joke. People like this make things unsafe. That one bothered me. I won't lie to you. That one bothered me a little bit. That one got to me. That one got under my skin a little more than anything else. Because you want to know why? You want to know why domestic and emotional violence is no joke? People like this make things unsafe. Because that was my ex-girlfriend who jumped in and tweeted that. I dated Joe for 5 years. Now I'm people like this. That's the person that I actually walked to the Mall of America and we joked around about going to the chapel and getting married. I'm people like this now. Hi, how you doing? I'm people like this. And to jump in and surf in with everybody else and get a pot shot in when you know me even, or I thought you did, or maybe you don't, or maybe you think you know a part of me that I don't know. I don't fucking know. All I know is, you know what? My fucking hat and gloves are still at your house and you come in with people like this. You know, man, I used to think I wanted chaos. I talked about it. I love chaos. Chaos is my thing. I've built a brand essentially on being a guy who loves chaos. And, man, I don't want fucking chaos anymore. I don't want to see everybody with their fucking conspiracy theory telling me why this guy did what he did. I don't want everybody telling me that Tom Petty died and it's the most important death and I need to care more about it than the other people who are alive. I don't want people telling me that people in Puerto Rico need to rise up and kill the president because he threw paper towels at him. And I also don't need a president who's going to throw paper towels to people in a let them eat cake gesture that was fucking insulting from the jump. I don't want chaos. I want to be like David. I want to hide. I need a castle so I can fucking hide. Maybe I'll go to Canada. I talked to Rick about it. I'll go to Canada. We'll go to Pennsylvania. We'll be Amish Schmidt and we'll just fucking form a community together. And I'm going to get off the internet altogether because you know what? People like this don't belong on the internet. People like this do not belong here trying to make people change their ways. People like this don't need to read all this stuff. People like this don't want chaos anymore. And I'll tell you what, it's Canada. that I'm possibly going to in Pennsylvania, which also has a winter. So I'll tell you this, people like this need their fucking winter coat. So quit jumping in and piling on Twitter and send me my fucking coat. You guys can get me at Mike at MikeSchmidtComedy.com. You guys can be my friend at Facebook.com/the40-year-old-boy. You can follow me at Twitter.com/the40-year-old-boy. I just told you it's an adventure over there. You got to get in. You never know what's going to happen. Please remember, I'm also on Instagram and Snapchat. You can find me at those places. I'm at Instagram and Snapchat at Mike40YOB. So that's Mike at MikeSchmidtComedy.com, Instagram and Snapchat at Mike40YOB, and Facebook.com/the40-year-old-boy, Twitter.com/the40-year-old-boy. Find me before I disappear into the ether, because it's coming. It's on my fucking mind every goddamn second. Please remember that Giovanni Giorgio Peluso, superfan Gio, not super fan of me, but certainly super fan of others. He is a guy who's done all the YouTube stuff for our show, helps me with technical stuff when I need it. He has his own podcast, Pod Gods. He does all the Adam Carolla Loveline stuff. You can find him at Facebook.com/Giovanni Giorgio Peluso. That's a lot of G's. That name just wants to make you eat spaghetti, doesn't it? You just think to yourself, God damn, that's a spaghetti-eating name. So go find him at Facebook.com/Giovanni Giorgio Peluso. And then maybe the two of you can meet Luigi and go play Mario Kart. That'd be fantastic. But find him and be his friend and thank him for the YouTube stuff. Remember that Ryan Dirks does all of our web stuff. Facebook.com/Ryan Dirks is where to find him. Hey, Ryan, if you're listening, I don't know if you are. We're doing the website over. It's happening. I need to contact you, but I'll reach out to you here. But in the next couple months, we have a plan. We have an idea. We have stuff sketched out. And by that, I mean Dave had it, and I finally talked to him about it. So there we go. So Ryan Dirks is our web guy. Find him at Facebook.com/Ryan Dirks. And I just mentioned David. David is the guy who does all of our music. David Hernandez. David Mex Hernandez does all of the music and the cool-ass artwork, paintings for this show. You can find him at Facebook.com/David Mex Hernandez. Be his friend on there and see his Mex memes that he pollutes the airwaves with, or the Facebook with. He and I had to long talk about this fucking Facebook thing because I had to explain to him what the show was about. And, I jumped off in the middle and talked to him, whatever. You don't need to know the fucking behind the curtain. But we had a long talk about the artwork and what it was. And I told him, I don't want chaos anymore. I want to come live with you. I just want to be in your place. No more chaos. No more internet. None of this. I need to find a new motivation for my... I've never felt more 50. I have never felt more 50 in my life than I did this fucking week. Just tut-tutting and shaking my head at the things people were writing on the fucking internet and just going, why? Why? What's the point? Again, the back 25. Let's make it smoother. So David Hernandez is the guy. He does all the artwork, all the music for this show. You can find him at Facebook.com/David Mex Hernandez. But if you'd like him to do some private work for you, you can go ahead and contact him. He's got, all sorts of stuff for sale. His Gaicons, yawning, his Valscapes, and he does custom artwork for you too at artbydmh.com. Go ahead and find him on there. Tell him what you want him to do and he'll paint it. He works in all sorts of mediums. He'll work in gauze, he'll work in clay, he'll work in mud, he'll work in paint, he'll work in oils, he'll work in human bodily fluids. If you send him a jar of your own sweat, he'll go ahead and make a painting with it in there. That's how he works. But you'll have to go ahead and contact him about that. I don't know what is hazardous through the mail and what isn't, but contact him. Please remember you can find him at artbydmh.com. If you want to do any personalized artwork, you want to even just go check out the work he's done. It's a worthy site. Go look at it right now. Go to artbydmh.com.
Spend my life free. I could not repay roll your brow and know I love you right now.
Want to remind you folks that David Hernandez, who I just mentioned on the other side of that unbelievable Tom Petty song that he just did for us, he does a bunch of cool things, like I mentioned, art, music, all that stuff, but he does a caricature Facebook profile thing. I don't know if you're aware of this. I might have mentioned it several weeks ago, or last week even, or I might mention it this week. He has drastically cut prices. If you want to have David Hernandez do your caricature for Facebook, for your Facebook profile, there's a limited time. He's drastically cut the prices on this. He needs a digital scan of a watercolor that he'll send to you. He doesn't need that. He'll do a digital scan of a watercolor. It'll be a profile pic, so it's 600 by 600 DPI. If you private message Max at facebook.com/David Mex Hernandez, he'll give you the price. You got to give him a reference photo and an email address. He'll do a head and a shoulder portrait, which I think is fine for a profile picture. But if you want to be wearing a costume or doing a cartwheel, like I said, or accosting somebody, or telling, you know what, if you want to have a conspiracy theory, let him do that. Let him make a profile picture of you in Las Vegas pointing up at the 32nd floor. That's another thing I got to hear, is that everybody said, hey, if people would have had guns, they could have stopped this. Really? Really? You think, is that what you want? 30,000 people to unsheathe their Glocks and start shooting at the windows at the Mandalay Bay? Holy fuck. People don't think. They just don't. But Dave thinks it's a good idea for you to contact him to do a caricature for your Facebook page. That's right, you want a profile done by him. Like I said, you'll get a digital scan of a watercolor, head and shoulder portrait. It's amazing. Max is really good at what he does, and I think you should contact him like our friends KC and Andrea and Kevin and Leslie and other people have done. You should do just the same thing. Send him some money, he'll send you a photo. It's perfect. Or a painting. And then you can send him a photo to paint. And then just ignore me. But don't ignore me when I tell you that he's great, because he is fucking great. Contact David at artbydmh.com, artbydmh.com, or facebook.com/David Mex Hernandez. Find him there and get him on board with doing your project. Facebook, profile, caricature. I don't know how much longer he's doing these. He hasn't told me yet. We have sponsors. As you know, GetTheButters.com is a great sponsor of ours. That's our friend Jerome. He's doing butters and balms and bombs and lubes and masks and other things. And last week I said, hey man, I got a ball of scrub here. I don't know what the fuck to do with it. Haven't heard from Jerome yet. Probably didn't listen to last week's show. I should probably contact him myself. But it just looks like a big fucking wad of chewing tobacco that I'm supposed to, I guess, rub on my face in some way. It's a tea and chocolate mask, I suppose. I should take a bite out of it. Who knows? But go to getthebutters.com, use the code 40YOB, that's 40YOB at getthebutters.com, and get yourself some sort of cool-ass balm or bomb or lube or a mask or a loofah or a glove or a foot scrub or a sea salt-based caramel thing that he can put all over your skin, and a bronzer. Get a bronzer. I think he's got a bronzer. Get a spray tan. He might have that. Get a hair cream, get a beard oil. I still got to send Rick in Canada his beard oil. Jesus Christ. That guy even paid for it. I told him, you don't want to do this. Honestly, I tried to talk him out of it because I didn't want to fucking send it to Canada because I didn't want to go to the fucking post office. But he's like, no, man, I'm totally going to do it. I go, all right, well then send me like $15. And he did. And now I've got a mail. And that's just for the mailing. Jerome, don't think I'm reselling your products. He wants to fucking do the beard test because he's got a giant beard and he wants to test the beard oil and put it on the Joker's page. And I said, that's cool. But now I got to fucking mail it to him. That's the thing, is look, I'm very busy, folks. There's people getting shot all over the world and I'm being scolded on Twitter. I can't possibly make it to the post office. I have to sit and stare at the screen to make sure nobody else comes after me. Fuck. GetTheButters.com, use the code 40YOB and get cool stuff to your house and rub it all over your ass. Who wants to be an Uber driver? Who wants to be a Lyft driver? You, right? Of course, like our friend Michael, who jumped on board this week in, I think, Oregon, wherever he is. But if you want to be a Lyft driver, use the code MIKE720057. That's all caps, MIKE 720057. Go to Lyft.com, register, become a driver. I get money, you get money, and rides, and everybody's happy, especially me. Because, again, I get to be the Lyft pimp. And I also want to be the Uber pimp. If you want to do that, go to Uber.com and use my code, all lowercase, DJZW1. YTTUE, DJZW1, YTTUE. If you want to make that a mnemonic, go with, did Jay-Z want one yellow title trick under everything? No, that's awful. That's the best I can do in the moment. DJZW1YTTUE. Go to Uber and become a driver. And I haven't plugged this in a while. Go to mileiq.com/invite/HFVHB and use that code if you want to keep track of your mileage while you're doing Lyft and Uber. All you people who did use my code, get MileIQ on your phone. It helps you better with taxes. So go to mileiq.com/invite/HFVHB, and then I get like a fucking gift card because they don't have any cash over there at mileiq.com. They're not rich like Lyft and Uber. But use the code, use them all in conjunction so you can keep track of your miles. Then I'm like a MileIQ pimp. I'm an Uber pimp. I'm a Lyft pimp. I love it. I love being this guy. I'm going to get a pimp cup. I'm going to go to the Pimpers Ball. The Pimpers Ball? The Players Ball. I'm not going to the Pimpers Ball. That's an entirely different ball. And the Pimple Ball. Don't even ask about going to that. Oh, it's grim. Nobody enjoys that at all. And you know what? Let me just go ahead and run down this. I'm going to be this weekend. Pull out a piece of paper for you. I'm at the Los Angeles Podcast Festival this weekend. It's amazing. That's right. Oh, before I get into that, did you know that Earbuds is now available? This was a film about podcasting made by my friends Graham Elwood and Chris Mancini, and you can get it now. It's available at iTunes and Amazon and all sorts of other downloading streaming sites, and you can check me out. I'm in there for like 15 minutes talking about stuff and working at a job that was from 4 years ago, but who cares? You should check it out anyway and see me get into a shouting match with Graham Elwood at Earbuds. Again, it's available, I think, in the Comedy Film Nerd store or at Amazon. If you want to buy a hard copy, they'll sign it. If you want to buy it on streaming, you can stream it. I'll come and sign your stream. I'll air sign it. Do that. If you stream it, write me a note or send me something on like YouTube, and I'll make a YouTube video of myself air signing your stream. Oh, the promises I make. So reach out to me and do that. But also, I'm at the Los Angeles Podcast Festival now. Go to lapodfest.com and buy your tickets now, folks. They are available, waiting there for you to purchase and bring to your home, and then to fly out here to California and enjoy them and go to the shows. Friday, Saturday, Sunday, all 3 days. There are 3-day passes available. There are single-day tickets available. If you want to buy single tickets to see me, I'm on stage on Saturday at 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and I'll be doing a show. I still don't know to this moment. It is, I don't even know. It's now... I don't want to give you a time and a date. I don't like doing that because I don't want to go ahead and tell you. Because I want you, it's theater of the mind, folks. It's Monday morning at 8 a.m. How about that? We'll talk about it. We'll say it that way. And the week has just begun, and I still don't know what I'm going to talk about at PodFest this weekend. Who knows? And especially now with me boycotting the internet, it could just be me going, what if I just did conspiracy theories? What if I just got a cork board and photos of Stephen Paddock and just lint, like string, yarn, and I strung it along push pins to try to make the conspiracy theory work? Who knows? Buy a ticket. Come and check it out. That could be my plan. LAPodfest.com. Buy the tickets now. I know you want to see me live, or you've seen me live before, because you know it's worth it. Plenty of other great shows there. My Favorite Murder, The Dollop, to the Jackie and Laurie Show. Bert Kreischer is going to be there. 6th, 7th, and 8th of October at the Biltmore Hotel in downtown Los Angeles. That's where they had the Academy Awards back in the 30s. Ooh, the ghostly Academy Awards. Come on out and slap the fucking ghost of Greer Garson. That's a lot of G's. And she's a lady. Don't slap her. Look at the. And I'm in trouble already. See, now people are going to write me and tell me that this kind of person shouldn't be allowed to have a podcast. It's a special gathering. Look, it's 100% independent, folks. This could be the very last. It's the 6th Pod Festival. It could be the last. I hope it isn't. But come on out and have a good time. It'll be fantastic. Go to lapodfest.com. Buy your tickets now. Buy the 3-day passes, or buy the 1-day pass, or buy them both, just to support the fucking festival. Buy the tickets now. It's me, like I said, Lori, and Never Not Funny's going to be there on Sunday. All these fucking amazingly big shows. And here's a new thing that I should tell you about. Not only is Never Not Funny on Sunday, but get this. I don't even know why I've been asked to do this nonsense, but I'm on a panel on Sunday. I'm on a panel regarding narrative podcasts. Now, I thought those meant like Serial and Welcome to Night Vale and stuff, but I guess they consider mine a narrative. I thought mine was more of a monologue, and I guess there's storytelling within the body of my podcast, so I can be there, or I can just fake my way through a goddamn panel on narrative podcasts for an hour. Who can't, right? They should ask you. You guys can fucking do it. Anybody can fake their way through an hour on a panel, and now I got to go ahead and listen to these fucking narrative podcasts. They have some sort of talking point, I guess. So if you get tickets at lapodfest.com, if you get the 3-day pass, like I said, you can see me on Saturday. I'm on at 4 o'clock in the afternoon, or you can see me bumblefuck through a goddamn panel on Sunday where I'm talking about narrative podcasts in a way that like I know something. I don't know if I'm that dude, but come and just see. Yeah, it's worth it. You know what? It's worth it for the ticket price just to see me on Saturday, to see me be calm and composed. Yeah, that's going to fucking happen. And also to see me Sunday as I try to flail and grasp for purchase as I look for some sort of talking point regarding narrative podcasts that I normally would not be able to talk about because I've never listened to the motherfuckers. But they included me. Why? Because I can talk. I think that's the only thing. They thought to themselves, you know what? Mike's a warm body. He can talk. He can fill a chair. I don't know who fell out. I can guarantee. Look, there's no way they fucking thought of me initially. Nobody went, you know what? Narrative podcasts. Somebody get fucking Schmidt on the blower. We got to get him in here because that last panel he was on was such a success with Keith and the girl, or just the girl. I don't think Keith was there, but it was the girl and John Lovitz and the dude who ran Earwolf, and everybody giving me dirty looks and side eye because I was like, yeah, I don't think you got to be nice to your sponsors. And look how it paid off. I've got the getthebutters.com here every week giving me cash. I got Lyft and Uber having no idea what they're endorsing in this fucking program. They're just like, I mean, because look, they got drivers who are out there raping people and being fucking scary and mean. They can deal with a guy like me who just talks a bunch of yang, right? There's no problem with that. Uber and Lyft, they love yang talkers. That's exactly what they're looking for. And by the way, they just released yang talkers. It's right with Flatliners. I saw it. It's a double feature at a drive-through. I saw it at a drive-through. I did not see it at a drive-in. Oh, man, I tell you what. When I saw yang talkers and Flatliners in the drive-through, it'll take a tank of gas. Look, they don't even charge you admission. You just keep pulling into the drive-thru. You watch a scene, you drive out. You come around, you watch the next scene. Boom, boom, boom. Let's go back to my room. And we can do it all night. And then we'll go to the drive-thru and we'll spin around and watch Flatliners and Yang Talkers. Oh, man, how is that not the name of the fucking show, right? Flatliners and Yang Talkers? I should, you know what? I'm going to do that. Fuck you guys. Because then I thought to myself, and like, I've never felt more 50. Like, I thought that could be the name of the show. But Flatliners and Yang Talkers. How do you get around with that? Or should it be Yang Talkers and Flatliners? No, Flatliners and Yang Talkers. That's the name of the show. See, aren't you glad you stayed this long to find the epiphany? And you listen to me and go, hey, that should be the name of the fucking show. And I came up with the concept of the drive-through theater. Fuck a drive-in where you park and all that nonsense and let's all go to the lobby. Fuck that. Let's all drive in circles around the lobby and watch one scene at a goddamn time and pick up a taco or some popcorn on the way through. Flatliners and Yang Talkers at the next drive-through near you. Fuck, I'm opening up a chain of these goddamn things. It's going to be fantastic. I'm running the fucking show. This is perfect. You can't stop me. You can't get in my way. Flatliners and Yang Talkers.
There's nothing lonelier than being trapped inside yourself. It's easier to hide when you pretend yours a knight. Women love a guy with a giant neck.
We here, we are playing on a level that most will never see.